Today I'll show you how I got number 1 in the 1000 player CRL monthly tournament. So guys, hopping straight into it, we're going to be going over the replays of some of my games during CRL so I can just analyze my thought process during these games and also why I picked certain decks that I did. I was playing recruits here in the first game up against Wallace, who is a CRL world finalist. He was playing a drill deck. I actually had a really smart flying machine here. Instead of going for like arrows or something on the guards, I went for a flying machine because I knew he'd have to play something for the Golden Knight, so I knew whatever he played on the Golden Knight, the flying machine would just end up taking out. And I was already really sad here when I saw that he had the, Valkyrie and the Goblin Hut and everything, because this is really not what you want to see when you have recruits. He had Fireball for the flying machine, he had Valkyrie for the recruits, Goblin Hut for the Hog Rider. Was really just not a good look in this matchup for us. He went in for the wall breakers. I just went for my barb barrel onto it, and I think the barb may have forced out something. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it... No, okay, it didn't force out anything. I didn't play it quite high enough. I got some nice recruits, though, predicting his front drill, guys. Normally, your ideal counter in this matchup to drill is going to be the barb barrel, but if it's out of cycle, the recruits actually do a pretty decent job. Got some split skelly drags as well, just to apply a bit more pressure. I feel like this matchup is normally kind of impossible, guys, but the one saving grace is the Golden Knight for sure, because Golden Knight can chain off the Goblin Hut pretty nicely. And also, I feel like the Hog Rider is a lot better than Piggies here, because if I had Piggies, the Valkyrie would just destroy them completely, but Hog Rider can actually get some decent value in this matchup. And by the way, guys, each game was a best of 3 duel, so that means whoever wins 2 games first wins the duel, and also you can only play each card once, so if you play wall breakers the first game, you cannot use them in the second game after that. I got my arrows down for the Evo wall breakers, and I think I just barely was able to stop them. I kind of survived single elixir pretty decently. Didn't really get many recruit pushes down, though, because I was scared that if I was aggressive with my recruits, he would just get some pretty good wall breakers to punish me and stuff like that. I think I got my Skelly Drags here, but somehow the Evo Valkyrie pulled it forward, which put me in a pretty weird spot. He got his Goblin Hut down and the Goblin Drill as well. I think I just went for a cheap bar barrel. Yeah, I got a cheap bar barrel on the Goblin Drill. As long as you place the bar barrel right, it always does a really good job. And I think here I finally went for my first Evo recruits of the game. The Evo recruits can always do a good job, I feel like, guys. No matter how many splash counters they have, as long as they don't have like a bowler or something, I feel like the Evo recruits can pretty much always do a good job. So my game plan here, guys, was just to go for like, split Skelly Drags and stuff, because they're kind of hard for him to stop, because they just wreck the Goblin Huts, and he can't really fireball them if I split them. And also I wanted to make sure I'd go for the Golden Knights in the opposite lanes of his Valkyries, but he actually got a second one down. So I was kind of building up a bit of a push here. His Goblin Hut was going to die, so I went for a Hog Rider. I knew that I could get some decent hog damage because that hut died. He went for another hut, but I got a nice Golden Knight ability, killing everything, and I had some troops here surviving, guys. He had everything he needed. He had all the counters he needed to us, but just going for a really smart push, splitting up our stuff, getting a Golden Knight on the right side, got us into a really good spot elixir-wise. Look how much elixir I was up here at this point. And I knew that I would have a pretty good chance to win this game unless I had some ginormous choke, which can easily happen in CRL, guys. There's a lot of nerves in CRL for a lot of people. I actually went for my Hog Rider and Golden Knight right into this Valkyrie, guys, because I knew that the Evolution Valkyrie would pull my stuff into his tower. So I got my Golden Knight to the tower, Hog Rider to the tower as well, got so much damage there, which pretty much put him in range of a couple arrows. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm a little bit sick right now, so yeah, if I sound a bit stuffy or whatever, that's why. I was playing CRL while sick, man. I was fighting for my life, but I was actually able to do really well. So you got the wall breakers down. I got a really good cage, though, and I just took the first win. In the next game, I decided to go for an Electro Giant deck. The reason why was because I was playing a lot of cycle decks like Goblin Drill, some Royal Hogs, and stuff like that earlier in the CRL tournament, so I just wanted to try to counter-snipe Wallace, thinking that he might go for, like, I don't know, a Lava Hound deck, or just any sort of cycle snipe. He ended up playing Splashard, which is actually a pretty bad matchup for E-Giant. I got a pretty aggressive E-Giant down, though, because I knew I had a perfectly healthy bowler to support, and I knew that it could get a lot of damage and really kill whatever he would get with the counter push against my E-Giant. I got a pretty aggressive Lightning down. I knew he had Splashard after I saw that Goblin cage. Unfortunately, his Ice Wizard actually got some really good value, but I think I did go for a Tornado onto it, yeah, just to align the bowler with the tower, getting free tower damage right there. The bowler is really just like a magic archer in this deck, guys. Half the time you get more damage with your bowler than the actual Electro Giant. Yeah, look, I got so much bowler damage right there. I was off to a really good start, guys, but unfortunately this matchup is really good for a Graveyard. He went for a Knight. I just bridge blocked him to make sure he couldn't go in. The reason why this is so good for a Graveyard is that if they split up their defenses right, they go for like a high cage and a low Ice Wizard, you really can't get through if they play their cards right. Sometimes you could get a tad bit of bowler damage and stuff, but it's also kind of impossible to defend their graveyards sometimes because we had no guards in our deck, no small spell like a Barbarian Barrel, so it could be really, really challenging in this matchup. But just having the good start, I knew I'd have a decent chance to make something work here. I was just setting up my bowlers in the back, guys. You can't really go for the E-Giants in the back too much in this matchup. You kind of just have to go for the E-Giants after you have some sort of troop counter pushing. I got a pretty nice Goblin hut here on the graveyard, though Wallace kind of mistimed his bar barrel. I did decide to support the bowler here because I knew that I could maybe get some nice tower damage off of a lineup on whatever he played. He decided to go for an Evo Knight kind of off to the side, so I did go for my Tornado, I do believe. Yeah, which helped me just get a little bit of tower damage and, you know, do some damage to his Ice Wizard and everything like that. And I think I got my bowler down. Yeah, I got my bowler down. Wallace finally went in for another graveyard. I just had my Bomber and a Knight, nothing really too much, but he actually got a NATO off, and my Bomber didn't throw the final shot. And look, I had no small spell, I literally couldn't do anything. There was literally nothing I could do there. That's why this matchup is so bad. So I already called the good game. You know, I thought for sure I'd lose. But guys, keep in mind, even if I knew that even if I lost this match, I could still take it to game 3 because the duel would go to game 3 if I lost this, since I did win the first game. So I knew that I could still have a chance to win the duel overall, even if I did end up losing this game. Wallace did go for a pretty aggressive graveyard here, maybe a little bit too aggressive if you ask me, but Wallace is one of the best Splashard players in the world, so he mostly knows what he's doing. I knew Wallace might go for a cage up high, so I did go for a baby dragon pretty quickly, and I think I went for a lightning as well on the Ice Wizard. I could have played a NATO, but I kind of just wanted to get some tower damage because I was falling a little bit behind. I had a pretty decently healthy bowler, so I was thinking maybe I could get a tower lineup, but Wallace had actually a pretty smart Knight placement there. And as you guys can see, I kept on setting up my bowlers in the back, never the E-Giants, guys, never really anything else except of the bowlers. Always the bowlers first, and then the E-Giant kind of in front. So yeah, I think I got my E-Giant here. Wallace actually went for a super aggressive graveyard. Once again, I really don't think the graveyard by Wallace was very good. I mean, I had a Baby Dragon down, Bowler down. I got a really good Lightning up high on his Goblin Cage's Baby Dragon and the Brawler. And I made a really cool play here of NATOing the Ice Wizard away. I think a lot of people would NATO it into their push, but if you NATO it away, you just save your troops a few seconds. And the Baby Dragon got on the tower. E-Giant was a little bit of HP on the tower as well. Didn't really get me quite enough damage. I was hoping the Bomber would do something, but unfortunately it wasn't getting any lineup. He was almost in lightning range, guys. I just needed like 100 damage here, but it was hard to get it, so I just decided to go for a lightning here and try to cycle 2 lightnings. I somehow hit that Goblin Brawler right there. I didn't think I actually would. And right here I just decided to completely block the lane with my E-Giant just to buy me some time to get back to my lightning and just take the win against Wallace. I knew that Wallace really wouldn't have any way to block the lightning, so yeah, I was back to my lightning here, guys. And I took an easy 2-0 win against one of the best players in the world. Next up, I was up against Ali, who is another really good player as well. I was playing a Mortar Miner deck. The reason why I picked this deck, guys, or I guess my coach actually picked this deck for me, is because it's a really good counter-snipe deck, especially to beat stuff like Lava Hound. And sometimes people like to run things like Lava Hound against me because some of my decks like Goblin Drill really struggle against Lava Hound. He actually ended up playing a Recruits deck, which I wasn't really sure how to feel about. I didn't know how the matchup would go, but I was feeling good that I had the Bowler at least. I knew the Bowler could do a pretty good job for me, but unfortunately, Ali did have the Barbarian Barrel and the arrows, so I knew it would be kind of hard for my Swarm cards to get much value. I got a pretty good Inferno Dragon, though, up high for the Skelly Drags, but the Flying Machine is actually quite problematic in this type of matchup. I can kill the Flying Machine in this matchup using the Monk ability, guys, but it's just pretty hard to actually get everything going the exact way you want. I feel like you never have the elixir or all the troops down that you want to make the right push. I knew Ali would have to go for something there. He actually went for that Bar Barrel. I decided to go for an aggressive Mortar just because I knew his cycle was a little bit awkward. He had no Skelly Drags. I mean, now he got the Skelly Drags, but he didn't have the elixir for them anyways, so got a pretty decent Mortar here. I think I got a small connection on the tower as well. He went for the ability. I just had to let the Mortar die, but I did take a nice shot on the tower. I was thinking the main way I could win this matchup, guys, was maybe from an evolved Mortar, because the normal Mortars don't really do much here, but an Evo Mortar can get quite a bit of value. He went for the Goblin Cage. I just got my Inferno Dragon down. I was also thinking that maybe a crazy Evo Inferno Dragon could get a lot of value, and I just spammed in here with the Miner and the Goblin Gang. I knew he'd probably go for the arrows here on the gang, which he did. But it was overall pretty even to start things out with. I mean, we both had pretty much the same damage. I think I did end up going for a Mortar here, though, just to tank for the Skeleton Dragon. I didn't really want a Mortar here, but I just didn't want to take that Skelly Drag damage, so kind of had to do it. Yeah, so he went for the Golden Knight. I think he might have went for the Flying Machine as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you guys can see that, like, even with the Monk and stuff, the Flying Machine is still so darn pesky. I was feeling kind of weird here, like my cycle was really awkward. I thought he might Hog Rider, so I got the Bowler down instead of going for like a Monk. I also got the Evo Inferno Dragon, and I think I tried to sneak a Monk down in front, or did I not? No, I didn't actually. I just went for a Miner instead. And I think I played the Evo Mortar as well, just to make him play something into my Evo Inferno Dragon. You guys can see the Evo Inferno Dragon actually does pretty decent. I mean, it's not the best against Recruits, obviously, but it does decent for an Inferno Dragon when it's evolved against something like Recruits. And yeah, I got my Evo Mortar, I think, on the tower. Got my gang down for his Hog Rider, which countered it pretty nicely, but he got some damage too on the right side. But yeah, I was actually winning at this point. I had some really good plays. And I think I just pressured once more with the Mortar, or what did I do here? Yeah, I pressured with the Mortar once more. I kind of had to be careful of the Hog Rider opposite lane, guys, but I was doing a pretty good job, though. He did get the Recruits there to predict my Inferno Dragon, unfortunately, so I honestly thought I lost at this point, guys. I thought for sure I lost the game when he predicted the Inferno Dragon, because without the Inferno in cycle, I just would have no way to actually kill the Flying Machine. I mean, I did have the Monk, and I wasn't sure if the Monk would kill it or not, but I think I did time it right, so it was able to, yeah, just barely kill it. Goblin Gang was able to take out the Skelly Drag, and I was up like 500 at this point, but I thought this matchup would be really difficult. I was playing really well, though, so I was definitely keeping it close. Got a nice Inferno Dragon. He played his Flying Machine a little bit too high. And I think I, just got some Spear Goblins up high. I also played my Mortar just to keep the Inferno Dragon all heated up onto the Golden Knight right there. And, yeah, I was looking pretty good. I think I, just got some decent arrows down. I had to go for a Goblin Gang as well. He did go for a Hog Rider and the arrows. I just got my Evo Inferno Dragon, which was able to heat up quite a bit off of the Hog Rider. And I just got a pretty easy defense using the Minor Spear Goblins. I was thinking maybe I could finish out his tower using like an Evo Mortar or something, so I think I went for it. Evo Inferno Dragon I thought might do something, but unfortunately it just died a little bit too quickly, so I was in a little bit of an awkward spot here. He went for the Bridge Recruits. I think I had to just Monk and then get a decent ability off to kill the Flying Machine. Got some decent arrow value as well on the other side, but stuff was kind of falling apart because he got the Golden Knight Hog push, and I just had to Mortar late. But his Golden Knight somehow went all the way to my tower, guys. I got a gang down, but he predicted it. And honestly, that was a hard matchup, but I made it close, though. I was getting pretty worried here, guys. I was going into game number 2 with a deck that I'm not really that familiar with. I mean, I was playing Bridge Spam, and obviously as a CRL player, I have to be good with every deck in the game, but I'm much better with Cycle compared to this sort of Bridge Spam deck. So I didn't really know how to feel, and I had my back against the wall because if I lost one more match against this guy, I would just lose the whole duel since I was already down 0-1. I got a nice Rage down, so I was able to counter the Piggies pretty nicely, but his deck has really, really strong defense. He was playing this Piggies Lightning deck, and the Goblin is really hard to get through. I feel like the matchup would have been a bit better for me if I had like the Ghost in my deck or something, but unfortunately I didn't decide to put Ghost in here, so yeah. And by the way, guys, we were playing in-game duels, so you actually have to make the decks beforehand. Like, you make 4 decks beforehand, and then you can just pick the order you play them in. So certain deck choices I maybe wouldn't have gone for if I was playing normal duels instead of in-game duels, where I had to make my decks ahead of time. I got a nice Bandit activating my King Tower, but I had like nothing for these Piggies. Luckily my King was up though, so I wasn't gonna take that much damage, but yeah, you could see it's already just pretty bad for me at this point. Now, normally the main good thing about this type of matchup is the fact that you can get your Executioners down and they can't Lightning them or have any good way to kill them, but yeah, this guy did have Lightning in his deck and not the Earthquake, so my Executioners really couldn't get much value same lane. I got a nice Evo Bomber though. I just got some damage on the right side because I knew that I would probably want to get some same lane pushes off to this guy, so I got some nice damage on the right side to enable myself to push same lane if I wanted to. I think I got a nice Rage here as well on the Spear Goblins, yeah. And you guys can see my King Tower being activated was definitely helping me out quite a bit. Was pretty much even at this point. I mean, I did have my King up, but I just really wasn't feeling too good because I knew that I'd have to get some really lucky Bridge Spam in order to have any sort of chance to win this matchup. I got a nice Boss Bandit ability. I mean, I don't know if it was that nice of an ability, but it was something. Evo Executioner was able to destroy the Piggies. Evo Executioner actually does really well against Piggies. And here I knew that I had a decent opportunity with my Evo Executioner to make some good pressure. I just hoped I could kill this Firecracker somehow. I did get my Rage down. Ramrider was able to finish it off. Bandit killed the Goblin Hut. Ramrider made a charge on the tower. Executioner was going insane. And I believe I got a Boss Bandit as well just to try to chain on the one skeleton, getting it right towards the tower. Played a Bomber as well, got a nice Barbarrel for defense. And I think I went for a Ramrider as well because he played the Hut a little bit too low, guys. So I knew the Ramrider wouldn't even pull it. But I don't even know what happened there, honestly. The Boss Bandit just did insane things right there. This matchup is normally pretty difficult, but I feel like he just didn't really know what to do against the Boss Bandit, so unfortunately for him, I did take the win. I made a pretty risky choice here in the game 3, guys, against Ali. So whoever won this match would win the entire duel. And I made it, yeah, pretty risky choice. I went for Goblin Drill, which I was playing a lot throughout this tournament, so even though it's one of my best decks, and I know I can win almost against anything, it's really predictable, so my opponents can snipe me very easily. And unfortunately for me, Ollie did decide to make a very weird Goblin Drill deck that had like Ghost in it and stuff just purposely to counter my drill decks. So he got the matchup that he was looking for, I think, and I didn't really like this matchup too much, but I knew that I have really good outplay potential with Goblin Drill, so I knew that it wasn't game over just off of seeing the matchup, but I was feeling like it would be really hard. The Goblins actually took out a good amount of the Monks, so I was feeling not bad about that. And guys, I made a really, really smart play right here. Watch this. So look, he had the Monk down. I knew he'd probably want to pop the ability if I went for the Little Prince, so I did that. And then I baited out his ability, so that way I could go for the Log to then get my King Tower activated. And you guys will see later in this game how big of a difference having your King up can make. Ali decided to go for a Cannon Cart in the back. Honestly, Cannon Cart is a pretty annoying card for my deck as well. I knew that the Cannon Cart would be pretty hard to take off the board since I had like no big spell or really much of anything. At this point, I don't even think I knew that he had the Magic Archer either. I went for a really nice drill in the corner, got a Prediction Snowball, which hit his Spear Goblins. That was a really smart Goblin drill right there, forcing out his entire Monk there. Then I countered his Ghost with just some Skeletons. That was actually a really smart Goblin drill, guys. I played it all the way in the corner because I knew he'd probably try to Prediction Ghost, and then the Ghost just ran away. So it forced him to play other stuff than I just predicted his Spear Gobs and put myself in a really good spot. Because without his Monk, he can't really make many good pushes. He decided to go in anyways, but his Monk was already kind of low HP, so I wasn't really too worried about this. I got a Little Prince down low, and luckily for me, my Tesla was just targeting the perfect things. And I got a really easy defense. But honestly, guys, even with my King up, I knew this matchup would be really, really difficult still. I'm kind of surprised Ali didn't go for a Magic Archer on my Little Prince right there, honestly. I got a nice log just to make sure LP would kill that Magic Archer. And I did have my Evo Snowball in cycle, guys, so I went in for the Goblin Drill, and I was thinking I could just, like, Evo Snowball away his Ghost. He actually went for a Monk instead, but I still Evo Snowballed it, and I got just a little bit of drill damage. Nothing crazy, but I really needed to get any bit of damage I could get, because I knew that it would be kind of impossible to stop the Magic Archers later in the game, so I needed to have some early damage in order to actually put myself in a decent spot. I was thinking maybe I could get 2 logs to kill the Magic Archer, but yeah, they're just really hard for us to deal with in this matchup. Got my Boss Bandit down at Tesla as well, Snowball 2. Maybe I could have defended that a little bit more cheaply, but, you know, we take it. We didn't really take almost any damage at all from that. Ali went for another Cannon Cart in the back, and I was feeling kind of bad at this point, guys, because I was thinking that I have to go opposite lane in this matchup to win, but I didn't really have a choice, though. I kind of had to go same lane just because I had way more damage on the right side, and it was very hard to get even just a little bit of damage, so I was thinking that if I have to switch lanes here, I'm just not going to have any chance to win. I got a beautiful Evo Tesla, though. He actually didn't pop his Monk ability in time, so I got some really good interactions. The Cannon Cart is bugged right now, guys, so if it's actually targeted on something and you place something closer to the Cannon Cart, it just goes on the closer thing for some reason. So that's actually why his Cannon Cart retargeted there. Didn't really matter that much, but just an interesting observation. I got some nice drill damage right there, and I went for kind of a weird low Tesla just to not really give him too much Magic Archer value. If I played it higher, it would be much more likely to give him some good Magic Archer value. And you guys can see how much the King Tower was helping me here. It was really just making sure his drills would not get pretty much any damage compared to what they normally would get if I didn't have my King up. It was really close at this point though, guys. I was only up a few hundred damage, and he had his Evo Snowball in cycle, so I knew that just one Evo Snowball could completely ruin me. And by the way, guys, the CRL tournament was... well, 1,000 players qualified for the CRL tournament, the top 1,000 players on ladder. Not all of them signed up for CRL, but all of them qualified. So there were actually like a few hundred players in the tournament, and only the top 32 of us would move on. There was a total of 9 rounds. Oh my gosh, that Evo Tesla. But yeah, there was a total of 9 rounds, and only the top 32 of us would move on. So in order to actually qualify to day 2, I knew that I would have to go, I believe, 7-2 in order to get to the next day. So that's what I was aiming for, to win at least 7 duels and lose 2 or less. So yeah, I was doing really well here, guys. I got back to my Evo Snowball. I got a nice ability with the Little Prince. I was kind of concerned right here about the Evo Bats and stuff. I got a nice Evo Snowball before he popped the Monk ability, which kind of just saved my life right there. He got a Panic Magic Archer down, which did not really do too much for him. I got my Evo Tesla in cycle. You guys can see just how many times the Evo Tesla saved me in this matchup, man. It was kind of insane, actually, how many times that Evo Tesla came in clutch. Got a good Snowball, got a log on defense, and the end was actually really close, but we took the win. In my next set, I was facing Lapin Boy, and I decided to play an RG Monk deck in game 1. He was playing Royal Hogs Earthquake, which normally is kind of a matchup that can go either way. It's a little bit in Pig's favor normally, but I did have the Electro Wizard over an Electro Spirit in this RG deck, which made it actually a very good matchup for him. The reason why I had Ewiz in here, guys, was mostly to do well against Lava Hound, because normally Lava Hound counters the RG Monk decks, but if you have Electro Wizard up in the RG deck, then you have a much better chance to beat Lava Hound players. I got a nice Monk ability here. I knew the Queen would just die thanks to our Hunter, as well as the Monk ability. His delivery just got instantly wrecked, and he actually missed the Monk with the log right there, so he spent quite a few elixir defending that push. I decided to get my RG going in the back just because I was up a couple of elixir here. Normally, guys, with RG, you can have a chance to break through if you have, like, Lightning or if you have, like, a Rage or something like that, but yeah, I knew my version was just, like, really slow and defensive, so it would make it a lot harder to break through here, and I just needed to get some sort of crazy play to win this game. So I went for a Fisherman, just trying to see his reaction timing. He, unfortunately for me, was pretty quick with his Queen ability, so I only got one RG shot there on the tower. He decided to go for some split Piggies. I got my Barbara on one side, and then, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of panicked a little bit. I just went for a Hunter. I was kind of just a little bit slow with my placements. I could have got my skeletons on the left side a little bit quicker, but I was kind of just like thinking in my head, what do I need to do? So it took me a couple of seconds, but overall I didn't take a crazy amount of damage. I just was not in a good spot though, because even when you can make the perfect RG push, they still have the Evo Ice Spirit, which I feel like so often bails them out of bad situations. I decided to set my Monk up in the back in the same lane. You do want to go same lane here, and usually how you start your pushes is with the Monk in the back. Sometimes when you RG in the back, as you saw earlier, you can actually get punished from doing that, but if you just go for a Monk first, usually you're going to be fine. I decided to go for a Fisherman, and then I also popped my Monk ability just in case he tried to go for the Queen ability. He did go for the Queen ability, but didn't really do much for him. Got a nice Fireball into his cannon. I knew he was going to get to another cannon, though. He actually kind of missed his delivery. He didn't hit my Fisherman or anything like that. And I think I went for another RG at the bridge. Yeah, I knew that he was kind of low on elixir, and his cannon was out of cycle. He was able to get back to it, though, but yeah, I thought that this could maybe be something. If that was an Evo RG, I think that actually would have got good damage, but I literally got 0 hits, man. You guys can see just how tough this matchup is. See, if I had a quicker cycle, maybe I could have broke through a bit easier, because I would have got to that second RG a lot quicker if I had, like, Electro Spirit over the Electro Wizard, but yeah, the Ewiz really just wasn't doing too much for me in this matchup. He went for the Earthquake and the Ice Spirit. I think I just popped my Monk ability here, just to make sure his Queen couldn't do anything. Hunter also got the net off on the Queen as well. I think I just went for a Fireball. I had my 3-card cycle of the Monk going, so I knew I could maybe get a lot of Fireballs down pretty quickly. Really, my only defense for his Piggies actually was the Fireball, and sometimes Hunter, but yeah, it's pretty difficult to stop his cards in this matchup. Sometimes the RG decks do have Ghost and stuff like that, and that makes it a little bit easier to counter the Piggies, but I just didn't have all that. I was able to stop those Piggies really easily, though. Really good reactions by me, but I was down 1,000 at this point, guys, and I just didn't know what I was going to do here, man. I just was thinking, like, maybe I can get a double lane RG push, but I don't know. It just wasn't looking good for me. And guys, it's really bad to be down 0-1 in these in-game duels, man. If you're down 0-1, all it takes is one more unlucky matchup or one bad thing to not go your way, and you're out of the duel. I got a decent Fireball, but man, he already cycled to another cannon so quickly, and he already had his Evo Ice Spirit in cycle, so even though I pressured with the Evo RG, it was kind of hard to really do much with it. Yeah, I was cycling him here, but man, my RG just got like nothing. He got a late cannon down as well, but it was literally impossible to do anything. I got a decent Hunter off as well, and I think I played with the Monk. Yeah, I got the Monk down. I think I went for the Fireball on the Queen as well. The Fisherman somehow made his Ice Spirit just go absolutely insane. I don't even know what happened right there. I went for an RG aggressively, but I just had nothing for the Piggies. Maybe if I didn't go for that RG, guys, I could have actually defended the Piggies and had a chance to win the game, but honestly, even then, I don't know if I could have won. I actually got one RG shot on the tower, though. Got an Evo Hunter up high, then just made one more RG push. I know I'd only have like 1 or 2 more RG pushes left in me this whole game. RG was doing something, but he got the delivery to fully kill my Hunter, and yeah, I just did not think I'd have any chance here. I decided to get one more RG down, and then I wanted to Fireball a cannon, but I kind of had to just go for it on the Piggies to not take a ton of damage, and yeah, I just could not win this matchup. This guy's not even really a known player. Like, I don't even know who he was, but man, I just got completely wrecked by this guy. With absolutely everything on the line, I decided to go for the tried and true Goblin drill. As you guys can see here, when I'm playing Goblin drill, a lot of the time I don't go for the drill very first play. I kind of wait for them to play a few cards first, or I wait for myself to have some sort of thing on the field. Like, I think right here I went for the Goblin drill just because I had the Berserker down. which I knew he'd have to spend some elixir countering. He actually went for the knight on the wrong side, but unfortunately he was able to get his king up, which was really annoying for me. I did get some nice goblin damage on the tower, though. So I already knew he had Splashard. Okay, I don't know how my little prince didn't go for the knight, honestly, guys. I don't know how that happened. That looked like it should have went for it, honestly, but didn't really cost me too much. It killed the ice wizard anyways, and all I had to do was play some guards to stop his push. Got one little prince shot on the tower, and I was making sure to cycle my snowball a lot in this matchup, guys, because one of the best ways to get damage here is the evolved snowball. This matchup is a little bit difficult, but yeah, the real main way you can win is by using Evo's snowball. I got a nice drill placement avoiding his tombstone, but the knight was able to stop the whole drill anyways. I think I did go for a berserker, I believe. The berserker is actually really nice, guys. It's kind of like a mini tank, except it has really fast attacks, so it can kind of deal with stuff like graveyard pretty decently, and also just really cheap, so it really quickens up your cycle. I went for a high Tesla here, just to kind of keep my LP alive and get some field control. Then I went for a goblin drill. And guys, here I did have my Evo snowball, so I knew I could get some really good value with it. I decided to play it, but his tombstone actually kind of wrecked me right there, man. That could have been a lot more damage if it weren't for the tombstone, but still I got something on his tower. The thing is, guys, this matchup is a lot better in single elixir than it is later in the game, I feel like. So I was kind of worried that that would be really the only damage I could get, just those early drills. I think the guards actually managed to get a few pokes on the tower. Yeah, that was actually some very solid goblin drill damage. I mean, not goblin drill damage. I mean, it was a little bit of drill damage in single elixir, but mostly just like, yeah, some random guards and, I mean, a few incidental goblins as well. And just like, you know, that one LP getting the hit. All that little bit of damage just added up over time. I got a drill off to the side, and then I got a prediction snowball, which did hit his knight and allowed my goblin to get one nice hit on his tower. Not much, but, you know, just one goblin hit every single time does add up pretty quickly. The other nice thing for me was that I did have the Tesla, which does help a lot against Baby Dragon. If I had, like, Bomb Tower or something, that would make it a lot harder. Unfortunately, my Tesla did get kind of destroyed by his things. So, he had pretty good counter push cards going. I got my guards, I think, on the graveyard, yeah. And then he went for the poison on the little prince, but the graveyard didn't really get too much damage just because of the guards doing a good job. But yeah, you guys can see, like, a single graveyard push, and he already got most of the damage I got in the entire game with like 10 different goblin drill pushes. I did have my Evo snowball here, which I believe I did play, yeah, but he had the barber also. It did, like, honestly nothing. Yeah, so I was so lucky that I pressured early in single elixir. But I still wasn't really sure if I'd be able to clutch this win up or not. I had to, though. If I lost this, I would just lose the duel. I got some really good guards, though. I feel like sometimes the guards kind of suck because they just only go on the, you know, left side of your tower, and then they don't defend the graveyard skeletons that spawn right next to your tower, but my guards kind of split up nicely. I actually got a really good little prince ability. I felt like it was just a good time to go for it to tank for my drill, and I was actually right about that. I got a pretty good little prince. He did get a bit of a counter push going, but I think I just went for the Tesla to block up the lane, and I felt like I was in a pretty good spot. You guys can see I was normally going for the Teslas pretty high up. Not always super high, but at least medium high, just to make sure that he can't really cross the bridge too easily. Got a nice snowball. Unfortunately, no damage, though, just because he had so much stuff on the board. I kind of needed to get a little bit more damage here, because I knew that with a few graveyard pushes, he probably would outdo me in damage. I did have a really good Evo Tesla here, though, guys. Evo Tesla's actually really good against graveyard. Yeah, look at those pulses, man. Oh my gosh. Beautiful Evo Tesla that was. And I had my Evo Snowball back in cycle once again, so I did go for the arrows, then Evo Snowball. I actually misplaced the drill by like one tile, but it ended up not really mattering too much. I still got good value out of that. Still forced out a lot of elixir from his hand. And I knew he was probably going to go in for a graveyard, so I had my cards ready. Had my guards ready for defense, and got my Berserker for the Knight and the Barbaro. You guys can see, like, the cheap defensive cards in my deck were really giving me good opportunities to go in for the drill, because normally the drill decks are kind of heavier. They have, like, Mighty Miner or something, so when you defend, you can't really also pressure at the same time, but because my defense was so cheap, I was actually able to do everything at once. Got a nice NATO there, pulling my little prince into the poison, but the Evo Tesla came down, and at this point, I knew I had the win. I was pretty happy to win this matchup, because it really is not easy at all. Just the good start was able to win this for me, but if I didn't get a good start, I think I probably would have lost this matchup pretty badly. Honestly, I didn't play a crazy amount of Miner in CRL, but the last game against this guy, I decided to play a Miner Wallbreakers cycle deck. I went for the Log early, but unfortunately his Fire Spirit still connected, which just hurts so bad, man. Dude, that Fire Spirit hurts so bad. I hate Fire Spirits connecting to my tower. So annoying. So when I saw this guy's deck, I already knew it was going to be a really hard matchup, just because of the fact that they have the snowball. It makes it really difficult. I tried to pop my Golden Knight ability, but it didn't go down, guys. I popped my ability like 0.1 seconds too late, so it didn't go down. I got a last-second miner. I honestly thought I lost the game right here, guys. I thought for sure I lost the game, but luckily I kept it just to a bomber hit. He did decide to go in for another Goblin drill Fire Spirit, and you guys can see these Fire Spirits were just so incredibly annoying for me. I just never had really anything good for them. I got a log off right there and didn't really take too much damage, but I was already down at this point, guys, and in this hard matchup, you don't want to be down at all. You want to be up, if anything, so it was not the best look for me. I was down Elixir as well. Guys, the main reason why my coach picked a deck like this is mainly because he knows that I'm really good with Miner and a lot of these cycle decks. Like, sometimes, guys, coaches will just purposely pick you a deck that they know might not really counter your opponent that well, but that they just know can do a good job overall and be a relatively safe deck, just because they know that you can have such good outplay with your comfort decks. Like, if you play a really big snipe deck, you might get a good matchup with it, but you might also get a bad matchup and you're just not comfortable with it, so it's kind of easy to choke with it. But if you play a comfort deck, it's really good because you might get a bad matchup, but you're just so good with it that you know how to outplay pretty much everything, and that's exactly how I felt with Miner. But I just didn't think I could win this matchup anyways. He went for a really early snowball, though, which did not allow his drill to get very much damage. I don't know why he decided to go for that so early. See, it's really about mind games here, guys. It's about sometimes, like, stalling your units a little bit. Like, for example, stalling my Spear Goblins a second later than I normally would, just to avoid that snowball. Or, you know, sometimes you want to go for, like, a log first before the Spear Goblins, just to do better and not get predicted. I got a really good defense there, man. I can't believe I didn't take more damage from that drill. But yeah, I was down so much Elixir here. Just the snowball literally just ruined everything for me. Even the Fireball, I feel like, was really good for him. I got some nice Spear Goblins countering that Fire Spirit, then I got a Miner off onto his Bomber as well. Got a Golden Knight, which did predict his drill pretty nicely. I did have to pop my ability, though, because of that Snowball. And I got some Bats down as well, because I knew they could heal off the guards. Unfortunately, though, guys, the Evo Tesla is really, really good against our deck. And I couldn't really do much here. I knew I couldn't wall breakers because it just would have gone for the Tesla. But luckily, my Golden Knight was able to kill it, so I was able to go for them kind of late. And just forced out a lot of Elixir from his hand. I was still down a few hundred damage at this point, so I thought I might have lost my first duel. But I knew that I could still come back if I got some crazy Golden Knight or something like that. Okay, yeah, so right here he went for the guard, so I knew maybe my Golden Knight could do something. I popped the ability, but he actually blocked it really good. But my wall breakers did connect on the left side. You guys can see how I was doing a really good job of just applying double lane pressure and just putting him in an awkward spot by doing that. Just always applying little bits of pressure at the most random times. I forced out his snowball with my wall breakers, which was really good for me, just because that means that his drill can't really do much without his snowball back in cycle. I finally got my first Goblin Hut of the game off kind of up high just to sort of block up the lane. And I got a Golden Knight going in the back just to get that 3-card cycle so I could then spam quite a few miners onto his tower. The Evo Wallbreakers also once again forced out his snowball. And I still got a little bit of a Wallbreakers connection as well, which was really good. Got a miner off onto his bomber. He was doing a really good job of blocking my Golden Knights, and I think he got an Evo Tesla. Yeah, he got an Evo Tesla. Dude, I don't know why the Wallbreakers sometimes pull so far on the Teslas. It's kind of weird, but it was good for him. He got the Drill Fireball off, and I just had to go for my Golden Knight. But unfortunately, he had Fireball and Snowball, guys, so I had to take some damage there. Like, if they just have Snowball or just have Fireball, it's okay, because you can kind of, like, play around it and be unpredictable. But if they have Snowball and Fireball, it's kind of impossible to stop those drills. He actually got another Goblin stab there, so I was feeling pretty bad. I knew I just had to completely 3-card cycle like crazy with my minor poisons, and hopefully I would be able to do something. I got a Golden Knight dash, but he blocked it once again, man. And then I just got my Wall Breakers for defense. Defensive Wall Breakers are actually not bad against the drill. And I just knew I needed a miner connection here, but he actually predicted my miner placement. Still got on the tower, though, because he was a little bit slow. And I just needed to get a poison down because I knew he'd get a fireball. I cycled my miner, I believe, as well, just to get a little bit more chip damage. He went for that drill kind of late. He should have gone for it like a second earlier. I don't know why he didn't. And I ended up taking a very nice win there. My next opponent was Samuel Basoto, who is one of the best players of all time in Clash Royale. He has, like, I don't know how many #1 finishes, but he has some of the best ladder finishes of all time, and he's been in the CRL World Finals multiple times, too. He did go in for the Hog Rider, so when I saw Hog, I automatically knew it would be Hog Earthquake. In CRL, people pretty much never play any Hog deck except of Hog Earthquake. I mean, sometimes they have the Hog Recruits deck, but that's really about it. He did go for the Firecracker in the back. Now, I'm honestly pretty decent with E-Giant, guys, so I know how to play this matchup pretty decently, but also I'm a very good Hog EQ player myself, obviously, so I kind of know what the Hog player usually tries to do in this matchup. I actually got a really good bowler. I forced him to pop the ability, so I just decided to spam here a lot with my Inferno Dragon. Got the Golden Knight ability as well, and I had a really good push going. I played the Bar Barrel too. The reason why I did all of that, guys, was because I knew he'd have to, well, first off, pop the Mighty Miner ability, because otherwise my bowler would have got on the tower. And also, I knew he just had nothing to distract that Inferno Dragon. And as you can see, I got a ton of damage because of that pressure. Yeah, look at all that damage. Now here I knew he'd probably go for the Hog Rider, so I just had to go for a bowler down low. Even though I played it down low, that was really the best I could do. He got 2 hits because I played it low instead of higher up, but if I played it higher up, he would have got a lot more firecracker damage, so I was feeling not bad here. I knew he'd have to probably go for the guards onto my bowler. I was kind of keeping track of his cycle because it really was quite easy in this matchup. I knew exactly what his cycle was the majority of the time. I got an Inferno Dragon down on the guards. I kind of had to respond to them, guys, and when you have the Evo Inferno Dragon, you want to cycle those Inferno Dragons as much as possible. The Evo Inferno Dragon is actually low-key one of the best cards that you have in this matchup. Normally it's really hard to break through a Hog EQ deck with Electro Giant, unless you get like a good bowler or something. But it's honestly a pretty difficult matchup normally, unless you have like, Goblin Cage or something in your E-Giant deck, because Cannon just gets wrecked by the Earthquake. I got my bowler last second to stop his Mighty Miner, but you guys can see it was not looking that good for me. I had a really good start, but he was kind of coming back just by spamming the Hog Earthquakes and stuff like that. The Firecrackers just aren't easy to kill, but I did get my Evolved Cannon in cycle, and the Evolved Cannon can actually do a really good job. I decided to go for the E-Giant in the back just because I knew that he would probably Mighty Miner, and then I would just have a free Evo Cannon, which I did get down. Yes, that was a really good Evo Cannon. He decided to go for a Hog Earthquake, but that was just a free Evolved Inferno Dragon for me, and I knew the Mighty Miner wouldn't get that much damage because of my King being up. And I decided to play my Golden Knight here, and then also I popped the ability just to push the E-Giant in front of the Inferno Dragon to tank for it, which was really smart. He wasted the Ice Spirit into my Inferno Dragon, which reset its cooldown, and then he literally just couldn't stop it. It's just impossible for them to stop, honestly, unless they spam a crazy amount of Firecrackers. Evolved Inferno Dragon is just not balanced. Dude, look at that, man. He literally just could not do anything. Next up against Samuel, I decided to play Royal Giant with the Rage. I feel like the Rage can be really good in this deck sometimes because the Raged up Evo RG just goes absolutely insane. It just pushes stuff back so far and it just attacks so quickly. They're really good against stuff like Goblin Hut, which I was thinking maybe he would play. When I saw the Monk, though, I was thinking, okay, it's probably going to be an RG mirror matchup. And Samuel Basoto is one of the very best RG players in the world. I'm decent with RG, but it's honestly not one of my better decks in the game. Like, I tried to be good with everything, but RG's really not one of my best decks in the game. I did get my Skeletons down just to give my Monk and Ewis a bit more time. The only thing is, guys, this really wasn't a mirror matchup. It was in Samuel's favor, I believe, just because he had the Electro Spirit and I had Ewis. Honestly, probably shouldn't have done that Monk ability there, but the Monk ability didn't really affect us that much, luckily. But yeah, the Ewis was pretty good here, guys, just because it doesn't get reflected by the Monk. But at the same time, Samuel had just such a quicker cycle with the E-Spirit, so I'm pretty sure this matchup was good for Samuel, and I knew that I'd probably have to take it to a game 3, but I was still going to put up my best fight against Samuel. I decided to go for the Hunter in the back, just to try to cycle towards that Evo Hunter. Samuel ended up going for a Monk in the back. I think I just went for my Skellies here on the Fisherman, but I actually got them down a bit late, so I had to Ewiz as well, just to reset that Fisherman. I was going to probably Ewiz anyway, so I wasn't really pressed about it. He did get a really good Monk ability, which completely destroyed my Hunter, but Ewis was actually getting some decent damage. I was thinking here he might go in for an RG, so I think I decided to just go for my Monk. Yeah, I got my Monk down, then I got a really quick Fireball. They just can't react to your Fireball unless they predict it with the Monk ability. I got a really good Monk here. Like, I took one RG hit, but that did some great work. The Monk is actually one of the best counters to RG in this mirror matchup. Because Fisherman, it does something, but unless you pull it really up high, it still gets a lot of damage on the tower. I mean, also the Evo Hunter destroys the RG. You know, the bad thing for me here, guys, is that Fireball plus Rage does not kill Hunter. So I had no way to kill his Evo Hunter unless I got a Monk onto it, but he had Fireball Barbara, which can fully kill an Evolved Hunter. So I tried to go for a Prediction Fisherman onto a Hunter. He unfortunately didn't go for it. He went for it kind of late, but yeah, I just decided to Fireball it. I knew I couldn't kill it with the Rage, though, so I just let it be at that point. And I was thinking here he's probably going to go for an RG push. I actually surprisingly got a nice couple hits there on his tower. And then I think I got my Evo Hunter down up high. Yeah, perfect Evo Hunter placement, kind of high, but... Okay, wait! Oh, that happened. Yeah, basically, guys, his Monk reflected my Evo Hunter's net, which completely cost me, man. If that didn't happen, that would have been so good for me. I would have taken, like, no damage. I went for another aggressive RG here, aggressive Fisherman as well, but I knew I'd probably get damage. He kind of misplaced his Fisherman, still ended up going back later, but I at least got that one RG hit. I was thinking he might go for the RG, and he did, so I just went for the Ewis and the Hunter. I feel like that RG by him really wasn't the best, but He actually did end up getting a fireball, which I think got him, yeah, just one hit on our tower. I was pretty sure I lost at this point and would just have to take it to the game 3. I was thinking like the one last chance I would have is to set up a nice monk push on the right side, and that would pretty much be my only chance to steal this game. I decided to go for a fisherman, I believe. You kind of just want to have that fight happening on your side if possible. He decided to go for the ability with his monk, and I think I popped my own monk ability as well. Yeah, that was a beautiful monk ability. And then I think I went for the rage as well, which did predict his skeletons, and RG was just going absolutely ham on the tower. My monk was completely wrecking his fisherman. RG got the final shot, and I somehow won a mirror RG match against one of the best RG players ever. Make sure to stay tuned for my video tomorrow playing in Day 2 in CRL. Unfortunately, I got a really difficult group. I'm with Mohamed Light, Mugi, and Tall, some of the best players in the game.